back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Darla. If you don't know already, I am a new grad nurse here in Sydney, Australia. I was an international student before that. I studied Master of Business Administration, and then right after finishing that, I went straight to Master of Nursing Practice. So thank the Lord, I am now a temporary resident here in Australia, or also known as the postgrad visa. I was granted, thank you again, Lord, I was granted 5 years of temporary residency here in Australia. And I am currently working as a full-time registered nurse. So for some of you who have been seeing my videos either on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, some people have been asking like the journey from being an international student going to the Newgrad program, and from the international student visa going to the grad visa. So I am here to share with you what I can share. Actually, I didn't plan this vlog. I was just checking the comments that I haven't responded to, and I've seen some comments asking about that, and I haven't really replied because it's such a broad question to be answered in a comment, So I hope that those of you who ask will be able to see this video. So where do I start? Okay, so from being an international student, I studied at Western Sydney University for 2 years. I took the Master of Nursing Practice. It was a total of 4 semesters and 1 summer school and 800 hours of placement. Yep. So I was a working student. While going through placements, for example, if I was on the afternoon shift on my placement, which would be from 1:30 to 10 o'clock, I would be working from 7 a.m. to 12 noon. But that was before they capped the international student hours, because during COVID, they gave unlimited working hours to students, which I'm very grateful for. So I was able to work. But during my last semester of uni, they capped the hours back to 48 hours per fortnight. So at the time, I asked help from my parents for financial help, because it is impossible to study nursing here while just working 48 hours per fortnight, especially if you're paying your tuition. I paid around $80,000 Australian dollars in the span of 2 years, just the tuition fee, not including the miscellaneous fees, the student fees, your uniforms, and such. Okay, you would also have to pay your weekly rent, weekly groceries, utility bills, and all other stuff that you need to pay for. It is just impossible. So I know how some people romanticize being an international student here in Australia, how they try to get you to come by romanticizing it on TikTok videos. Please, 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 please don't go just because you feel like traveling is so much fun. I have seen so many international students here who weren't able to finish their studies and just went back home because they didn't expect it to be this hard. I will honestly say this: being an international student is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. You would really, really, really have to work hard. There's a lot of sacrifices. You will be depressed. You will have mental breakdown, physical breakdown, all of the breakdown you could think of. But you really, really have to push through it to be able to finish it. And it's really worth it. So just please, please, please do your research. Ask some people who will tell you the truth, not just people who will romanticize it just because they're getting commission or they just want to show off on social media. It is not easy. Guys, you have no idea. You have no idea. So for those international students like me who are now working full-time, who are now residents here or citizens, I am so proud of you. Let me just get it out there. I am so proud of you. But anyways, going back to being an international student. Yeah. So here you would expect in school, it is more of research, case studies, research papers. There will barely be any quizzes and exams. Unlike where I come from the Philippines, it's the other way around. It is like quizzes every day, seat works, homeworks, exams every single day. And you would usually just have research paper at least once per semester or in some courses when you're graduating. But here, no, I think you will do like 10 to 12 research papers per semester. It is all that. So it involves a lot of reading, not in terms of books, but in terms of research. Because, like I said, research paper. So just be ready with that. So then going on placements. So they will schedule your placement. So your semester's schedule will be constructed in a way wherein there's like, I can't remember exactly, but it's similar. It's like you have 6 weeks of classes, and then there will be like 2 to 3 weeks break in between for placements, and then you would have to go back to like another 4 weeks of uni again. And then in between semester breaks, you would think like, oh, it's semester break, it's my sem break, I get to rest. Nope, you would still have placements in between those. But you would also think like, yay, semester break, I would be able to work and save up for the next semester. Nope, you still have to go on placements. Until you finish those 800 hours, you do not get a break. There is no such thing as Christmas break. There is no such thing as sem break. There is no such thing as break at all. So if you do decide to go to nursing school, just expect that you will not get like a proper decent vacation or a long break in the span of 2 or 3 years. Okay, just to set your expectations. Okay, so on my last semester of nursing school, the Newgrad program would open. So it works like when you are almost finished, you are only qualified to apply for Newgrad if you are graduating the next year. Does that make sense? Like the application and interviews would happen this year, but then you would be graduating next year. So the Newgrad program will be starting next year. For example, I applied for my Newgrad program 2023, and then the program started 2024. So I hope that makes sense, because that's the best way I can explain it. So with the Newgrad requirements, I think I submitted as an international, okay, I don't know with domestic, but as an international, I submitted my unofficial transcript, of course, because I wasn't finished at the time. I also submitted police clearance and I think proof of enrollment from my school, and then my resume, and then at least 2 references that are clinically related. So if you already work as an assistant nurse or as an EN, you can put your supervisor's name or your manager or whatever there. But if you do not work in the health field yet, what I did was I put the names of the manager and the nurses that I have worked with while I was on placement. So it's very, very critical that you build good relationships with nurses and managers while you are a student on placement. Okay, I have seen students who have been allocated in placements with that would complain to their facilitators that they don't get along with this nurse, with that nurse, with this, with that, blah, blah, blah. As much as possible, if you're not being stepped on, try not to complain, okay? Because when you're a nurse already, there will still be people like that you don't get along with, that will be rude, that will be tough, but you don't get to pick who you work with. That is life. That is reality. So for me, my thinking is, if you are complaining as early as when you were a student, I don't think you will make it as a nurse. I don't know, but that's just what I think. Okay, there are different nurses have different approaches. Some will have very sweet and kind way of teaching. Some will have tough love. Some will be very, very rude. Of course, you have to know how to stand up for yourself. You know the limits, know the boundaries, but just as a new grad, what I learned is that I have to get along with everyone. Everyone has a different way of teaching, everyone has a different way of working. What I did was I tried to adjust to whoever I'm paired with, whoever I'm working with. If this is their way of working, then that'll be my way of working. Unless it's getting in the way of our work, like it's putting patient safety at risk, if it's violating any laws, if it's illegal, if it's unethical, then of course you draw the line there. But if it's just like different way of working, but you still get the same result, you still get the work done at the end of the day, then that's how I do it. If he likes to work slow, then I work slow. If she works fast, then I work fast. If she wants to split patients, we split patients. If you want to work together, we work together. I am a rookie. I am a new grad. I am willing to learn. I'm willing to adjust. I just want to build good relationships with people as much as I can. Not that I'm a people pleaser, but I just don't like confrontation. I don't like problems. It is very awkward to work in a ward wherein you had a fight with someone already, especially if you're new. Chances are you're the only new person in that ward and all of them have been working together for the past few years. Well then guess what? They will all not they're all not gonna like you. If you have a fight with someone and they're like all together, cling together, they all won't like you. And it'll be very difficult to work in that situation. Okay, I'm getting off track again. So, yeah, so those are the requirements: transcripts, proof of enrollment, police clearance, resume, and references. I may be forgetting something, but I think those are pretty much it. And I think there's just an application form that you have to fill up and send. Anyways, it's like in the website that you have to apply for, and if you're missing anything, there is someone that's going to email you and will let you know that, hey, you're missing this, can we please follow up on this, can you please submit supporting documentations. So it's very easy because everyone's very helpful. And then once you apply, everyone will get interviews. You get to choose, I think you get 7 preferences, but I just put in 3. I think, yeah. And then for the districts, okay, not the hospital, you get to pick like 7 districts. But I only put in 3 because the other 4 would have been too far and would have been impractical. I wasn't planning to move, but there were some students in my class who put in 7 different districts and were put in like a different state, and they were all willing to move. If you're single, you're alone, you want to move, that's okay, go for it. But I was with my husband and I have 2 cats. There is no way I'm moving. That's just me. Okay, so you will be scheduled an interview. I think the interview consisted of 3 or 4 parts, I'm not sure, but it's most likely all clinical questions and what was that called? Like the mission and vision of the district you're applying to. Those will be like the topic of the questions in the interview. So you picked 7 districts, but you will only have 1 interview and the results will be passed on to all those 7 districts. And it's just a matter of time before you get an offer. So when you get an offer, there will be the first batch, and then there will be those who are waitlisted. If you are an international, you will be most likely be in the waitlist. So in my class, at least, there's not a single person who got an offer in the first batch if you're an international. But then, after 2 months, I think all of us got an offer on the wait list. Okay, I am lucky that I got an offer from the first district and from the first hospital that I picked. And then you get to choose your intake. I think there are 3 intakes a year. I think there was February, there was May, and there was August. I originally picked the August intake, but then I finished school December, and then I got an offer January. So I think I didn't want to wait from January to August to be able to start working. So what I did was I messaged the HR department of the hospital that offered me the Newgrad program. I asked them that if it was possible to be moved to the May or February intake, and they said they would put me on the wait list. And funny enough, my friend who was supposed to start on the May intake dropped off the program because she got another offer in a private hospital. So her position in the May intake got transferred to me. So I'm working in a public hospital right now, and that was my first preference in terms of district and hospital. But you don't always get what you want. So since I got my hospital preference, I didn't get my ward preference. Remember when I said there's the first batch that would be offered the Newgrad program? So in the first batch, the list, you would get the preference and all the departments would be there because you're the first batch. But if you're on the wait list, you would get limited options for the preferences. There was no NICU, there was no PEDS in the list that I got because I was on the wait list. So I think I put in my preference as hematology first, and then hematology, oncology, and palliative care was like in one. And then I think there was gastro, and then neurology. I think that, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that my first option was hematology, and then gastro, and then neuro. And then like 3 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks before I was supposed to start the Newgrad program, they published the allocations, which showed that I was going to PalCare. I was so furious, like, what the? I didn't want this. I wanted babies. And then you put me with the oldies. I almost quit because the princess in me did not want to do that. Imagine the work in oncology and the palliative care department. I hated it. I dreaded it. But guess what? Halfway through the rotation, I ended up loving it. So if you don't get into the Newgrad program, don't be sad. If you don't get the preference that you like, don't be sad. Speaking from experience, I never thought in my life, not once did I think that I would like PalCare, but I love it right now. Okay? So then I started the Newgrad program. The Newgrad program consists of 2 allocations in a span of 1 year. So you would get you will get the preference list for each, but there is no guarantee that you will get it. So then I started my palliative care program. I was so exhausted because honestly, if you're going into nursing for the money, it is not even that much. So just don't if it's just for the money. So I would always work overtime because I needed the extra money because I'm an international and there's a lot of expenses and Australia is not cheap. Okay, so then 6 months passed and then I started my next rotation, which is the pediatric ward, which is what I've always wanted. So when I was still a nursing student back in uni, I've always wanted to be an ED nurse, an emergency department nurse, because of Grey's Anatomy, Dr. House, Chicago Med, The Resident. All those medical shows made it seem like being an ED nurse was so fun and great and amazing. It's amazing, I think. It's amazing. ED nurses are great. They're amazing. They're quick on their feet. They move fast. You know, it's like they never get tired. It is great, but it's just not for me. When I started going on placements as a student, I realized that ED is not for me. Which is, I think, the benefit on going on placement. It's just not to learn. You're exposed in different departments, it gives you the chance to really know where you want to be. Because let's be honest, as soon as you decide that you're going to nursing school, you already have an idea of where you want to go. But I don't think that's always the case. Because as for me, I wanted to be an ED nurse. And now I don't want that. And then when I graduated, I realized I wanted to be a NICU or a pediatric nurse. And guess what? I am now in pediatrics, and I don't think it's for me. I like it. It's okay. But it's not what I expected. When I was in PALCare, I hated it so much. I complained all the time because it was crazy, it's chaotic, it's all over the place, it's tiring. But guess what? I miss it. I think part of me likes the crazy, the chaos, the rush. I think that's what I want, but not the ED rush kind of way. So now I realize I don't like the peds ward. I mean, it's okay. It can get crazy, but not the same way. So I think that is the beauty of Newgrad program as well. You are exposed to 2 different departments. One of them at least would be your preference. So it gives you the chance as well to really figure out if that's what you really want or not. So now that I know that I don't like peds, right after Newgrad program, I'm going to apply to NICU. I'm not sure anymore if I'm gonna like it, but I still want to try because I don't want to have what ifs. I don't want to regret it in the future. But you know what? That is the beauty of being a nurse. There is a whole world out there for you. If you don't like being a ward, if you don't like where you are, if you're not happy, you can always move. If you're a ward nurse, there are dozens of different departments, different units, different wards. You can always go from one ward to another. If you don't like being on the floor, you could always go to the operating theater, recovery, outpatient care, short stay. Guess what? If you don't like those as well, you can always go for clinic nurses, cosmetic nurses. If you don't like those as well, you could go for admin positions. You can go for an educator position, a consulting position. If you don't like those as well, you could go for research. If you don't like those as well, you could get an office job. That is the beauty of nursing for me. If you don't like where you are, if you're not happy, you don't have to quit nursing at all in general. You just have to find a different place to go to. There are hundreds of options, and I'm pretty sure one of them would fit you. You would love at least one of them. So, if you got a job and you're not happy, don't be afraid to move. I think that's my advice as a new grad, because I've heard a lot of new grad nurses quitting because they're not happy with their ward. Don't give up too soon. Just because you're not happy with your ward, go to a different ward. If you're not happy with the entire hospital, go to a different hospital. There are hospitals everywhere. If you don't like any hospitals at all in Australia, you can move to a different country. Okay, so just don't close your doors. There's a lot of options. I remember seeing a question about how did I cope with being a new grad, because I know you don't learn everything in uni. You learn most of it on the job. Okay, so don't be afraid. If you're in the new grad program, you will get overwhelming support from your new grad coordinator, from your ward educator, from your ward consultant, from your senior nurses, from your managers. That is another advantage of new grad program. There are unlimited supports and resources available for you. During work hours, there are all the educators, consultants, senior nurses, managers, and even after working hours, there are after hours educator, after hours support that would be always willing to help you. So don't be afraid. The first day I started, I knew nothing except to do vital signs. That was all I knew how to do on my first day, vital signs. Because imagine, I finished school December and I started working May. So I think everything I learned in uni was just gone out the window. Okay, but I think I was very blessed, very lucky to have worked with people who was very, very, very willing to help. I asked nonstop questions and they were always willing to answer. They didn't make me feel like I was stupid for asking those questions. I am telling you, don't be afraid. At some point, all those senior nurses started as a new grad nurse as well. They were all in your position as well. Okay. If you do get unlucky and if you do get paired with a nurse who's not willing to help you, that is fine. Just suck it up throughout the day and then pray for a better nurse to work with the next day. But there are barely days like that, okay? Everyone is usually always willing to help you. And they'll understand that you're a new grad. You don't know how to do everything. You're practically not allowed to do a lot of things if you're a new grad. So really, really don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. I cannot emphasize this a lot. I ask a lot of questions. Even now, I am 8 months through my new grad program and I still ask a lot of questions. I will always be like, I am so sorry, question. I am so sorry. Can you please help me? Are you busy? I need help. Just always be nice. This is why I said you need to build good relationships with everyone, because as a new grad, you will always need help. You will always need help. Even if you're not a new grad, as a nurse, you will always need help. There are medications that need 2 checks. When you do repositioning, pressure area cares, transferring of patients, you will always need help. That is why it is important. Build good relationships. Try not to have a fight with anyone. If there is someone that you don't like, if there is someone that's being rude to you, just try to avoid them. Don't engage. Don't make eye contact. Just really, really maintain that trust and good relationship with everyone, because you will always need help. Okay? And even now that I am a new grad, I didn't stop studying. I still have my NCLEX book and some nursing books that I still read through. So when I got assigned to oncology and palcare, I focus on reading stuff about those. And then now that I'm in pediatric ward, I focus on reading stuff that are about peds. Okay, so just because you graduated, you finished school, doesn't mean you stop learning from the books. Okay, you learn most of it on the job while working, but for me, an advice: you don't stop reading. You don't have to do it every day. You just have to give it time. During your day off, you read for an hour or half an hour. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I think this video has gone long enough, but if you do have more questions, don't be afraid to put them down on the comment section. If I am able to answer them in one comment, I will. But if you want to know more about anything at all, then I am happy to make another video for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. If you are planning to go to nursing school here in Australia, I wish you all the best. Please, please, please do your research first before deciding to move into a different country, okay? If you are currently in uni and you're applying for a new grad, I wish you the best. I know you'll make it. I know you'll get it. And if you did already get into the new grad program and you're going to start this year or next year, I am so happy for you. You are gonna do great. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.